Stigmatizing mental health in Black and Brown communities is crucial. Based on your experience, what is one barrier you've seen teens face in seeking help, and how can we, as a community, show more kindness to support them?
Listen, many youth today and young adults don't have someone who can just listen to them. And so I think to show more kindness, again, if they come to you, that means that they trust you. And so oftentimes they just want you to listen, not try to solve their problem, not try to figure it out for them. But having a safe space for someone is able to listen and hear what they have to say so that they feel seen, heard, and understood.
A lot of changes regarding mental health. When you enter high school, I feel like a lot of things change. I saw my friends become, in a way, they develop anxiety because of the stress, or it's either the pressure from the families to act or to do something that they believe is the standard. So I think that what I saw the most regarding the changes to social media is there's been a lot of pressure on young women to act a certain way, like you should be more feminine, you should be more this, you should sit like this, you should act like this. But I don't think that's the standard that should be put upon the woman, because you should be yourself.
Yoko, this question focuses on breaking the silence around male mental health. There is a message a lot of young men receive growing up: to be tough, stay quiet, and figure it out on their own. But that silence comes at a real cost. In your experience, what do you think is the biggest mental health challenge facing young men today? And what do you wish the adults and community around you understood better about what young men are actually going through?
Okay, hello, my name is Gil. I'm very grateful to be here today. Now, I know our host wants to see our applause again, but can you just applause for all the young men that are in the room right now?
Absolutely. Yes.
Now, do you see what we just did? We just appreciated all the young men in the room. That's not something that they get pretty often. And me as a young man myself, appreciation is something that I had to go out and get. Now, the biggest mental health challenge that I believe that young men face is a lack of confidence. Confidence isn't built in the household as well. As a grown up in an African household, it's more like you have to do everything yourself. It's a responsibility. It's not something that will give you gratitude and give you appreciation, right? Now, one way that I build confidence for myself is through experience. There's three main experiences that I want to go over. There's the experience, or all of these experiences happened in high school. One of them, I joined theater. Now, I might not look like somebody who would do theater, but theater is one of those things that built a community around me and it helped me express myself. And even being here speaking today, the only reason why, or not the only reason, but one of the only reasons why I believe I can even do this is because I built that confidence on the stage and I'm willing to get in front of people and show who I am. Now, for the other two, they're both sports, so I'll combine them. Sports, not only the community, but it builds that competitiveness, and that competitiveness will bring you to spaces that you might not have been comfortable in before. And when you're confident, when you're competitive and you enter these environments, you will build confidence. Confidence is something that comes with experience. Now, one thing that I want parents and adults in the community to understand for us is that we are learning and growing just like you did one day. You were a child in your household. You were going through all these experiences that we've gone through. You go through school, you go through the challenges with your friends, your friend group, all of that stuff. But we're just learning. You guys learn. I just want you guys to just take a step back and look and see yourself in the eyes of your child, because that will help your child understand that you see them for them and not see them as just a child.
How have you seen resilience, strengthen mental health in your work as a therapist? And what is one actionable way our audience can practice selflessness to support a friend's mental and emotional growth?
think that resilience is very important, right? So all of us have some form of resilience. And resilience is simply our ability to navigate adversity. And so that could be adversity on a larger scale or a smaller scale, but resilience is essentially our ability to be able to cope and get through it. So I think with young people, oftentimes we find ourselves maybe focusing on things that they don't do well, right? Parents might say they don't do their chores, they don't wake up on time for school, they don't complete all their assignments on time. And so oftentimes that plays a role in anyone's mental health if we're always hearing the things that we don't do well. And so I encourage my parents and I encourage adults to highlight the things that the youth or young adults around you are doing well. Did they clean up after themselves without you having to ask? Did they watch after their younger siblings? Did they volunteer? Are they doing well in their sports or their extracurricular activities? I think just as well as we highlight the areas of improvement that youth and young adults need to do, we also need to highlight the things that they're doing well. And so I think resilience is important. However, the other side of that is that I want youth and young adults to understand the limitations of resilience or independence, right? And so yes, you are able to do a lot of things on your own, and we want you all to have autonomy, but also we want you all to know when to ask for help. And so sometimes we can feel too resilient. We can feel like I can do it all by myself, I don't need any help, I don't need to ask anybody, I can cope and figure all of this out by myself, and that's not what we want. We want you all to be able to have a balance where you say, yes, I can do all these things by myself. However, when it reaches a limit or when it reaches a place where you can't handle this by yourself, being able to identify the individuals, whether it's your parents, your guardians, those around you, those in your church, who can be able to help you. Oftentimes I ask my young adult clients, I'll say, do we know the point where we can bring mom or dad or someone into the situation, right? So yes, you're figuring it out, you're talking to your teacher, you're building your class, you're talking to your teacher, trying to figure it out. But when do we know to reach the point where maybe mom or somebody else has to come in to help? Because I think that's equally as important as resilience.
Talk a lot about self-care, but sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is show up for someone else. Have you ever had a moment where someone's kindness genuinely changed your day? Or where you were that person for someone else? What does it actually look like for a young woman to support one another's mental health and emotional well-being in real life, not just online?
During my freshman year as a high schooler, I was going through a lot of changes in my own life. Even it being a pandemic, because there was so many changes going on, and I was going through a lot of anxiety and I was panicking every single day. And at one point, my friend just asked me, "How are you?" And I just broke down. It doesn't cost anything to be kind. So just asking, "How are you? How's your day? Are you okay?" Those can play significant changes in someone's day, even though it doesn't cost you anything. So I feel like in young women and men, of course, there's so many changes happening, and especially in young women, there's a lot of comparison. So they compare themselves either by looks, by personality, or by academics. Oh, she's smarter than me. Oh, she's prettier than me. But you have your own unique characteristics that are unique to you and that makes you you. So I just think that just being kind to somebody, it doesn't cost you anything and doesn't set you back any further, just brings you closer to your personal goals or you being changing somebody's life.
Comparison, self-centeredness, and the pressures young people face online and in school. How has your faith-based work shown this can be true for young people? And what is one practical way our audience can channel their spiritual beliefs into acts of service and kindness for others?
First, being, I don't want to use the word self-centered, but grounded to the point where you understand what your belief system is. So for instance, one of the things, oh, I'm sorry, thank you. One of the things that I do to prepare for my day, I call it the 3 Ps. So the 3 Ps are prayer. So when I get up in the morning, I thank God for all the things and all the opportunities that He's poured on me. The second thing is preparation. And preparation is an ongoing process. And I think it should be an ongoing process for all of us, young and old. And for me, that means I'm trying to stay abreast of things that's going on. I am aware of who I'm going to be servicing or providing services to that day so that I can meet their needs. And then the next thing is presence, that when I'm there, I'm there. All the other things that are going on to my life take a backseat. So for young people, align with what suits you. So your belief in God, be kind one to another. Do things, whether it is someone's being picked on, someone's being teased, maybe you can speak up to the guidance counselor on their behalf. Maybe you can go to that person that's being harmful to someone else and say, hey, you know, that's really not cool. And something else I think is really important, and I think the young lady at the end, tell me your name again? Adia spoke to it, is not comparing yourself to other people. And is it hard? Of course it's hard. Your mom is saying, look at Johnny down the street. Johnny has 3 degrees. You didn't even finish high school. Or you see your neighbor with a big fancy car and your car's 20 years old. But comparison really is the thief of joy. And it robs us of things that are very important.
Grit and being the change. A lot of young men are carrying heavy things. Academic pressure, family expectations, and they need to prove themselves. Often without anyone stopping to ask if they're okay. What is one thing that has helped you focus on your purpose when life felt overwhelming? And what would you say to another young man in this room who feels like they have to handle everything else alone?
Okay, one thing that I'll say that has helped me find my purpose in life is taking a step back and learning in isolation. One misconception that a lot of people have is that isolation is loneliness. Isolation is not loneliness. Isolation is an opportunity to learn. And you need to figure out which L word to use. Loneliness and learning. Now, when you're in that state of isolation, you get to learn a lot about yourself. When you don't necessarily tell everybody what move that you're making or whatever steps that you're taking to reach your goals, that a lot of people, they can't come into your life and tell you that you are doing something wrong. That is what ruins a lot of people's confidence, just like connecting to the last question that I had. But just being able to take a step back and learn will help you figure out who you are as a person.
Mental health and primary care practice, you sit at the intersection of physical and emotional well-being every day. What is one thing you wish more young people understood about the connection between their body, mind, and mental health? And what is one step they can take right now to begin to start caring for both?
How are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. How's everyone?
Doing good,
I want
thank
to thank
you.
you, Ruth, for inviting me to speak today. I kind of want to first piggyback off of what you two said, because I think it's so important. Oh, I'm sorry. That it's so important that children feel like they have a safe space, someone that they can go to. Sometimes it's not always your parent or maybe a family member. Maybe it's a school counselor, maybe it's a person's grandmother. Another very important resource is the 988 hotline for mental health. And that's whether you're going through a struggle, say you're experiencing something at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and it's keeping you up and you just can't sleep, or if you're thinking about harming yourself.